want you to think about this for a second. What if I told you that you could be stuck in a cycle where you would do all the stuff needed to learn how to trade and actually prepare yourself for trading, but never actually trade? It's kind of scary, right? Opportunity cost. We're wasting all this time, or we're investing all this time into our education, into preparing ourselves into something that can give us a delightful future. But imagine being in a place where you would actually never use it and it's nothing but a waste of time. Well, the unfortunate truth is that that's what many traders are doing. And that's one of the topics we're going to talk about in today's episode of the Trading Coach podcast. Not only are we going to talk about that problem, but I'm going to give you a solution and some personal examples of what you can do to work through that problem and ensure that you're never stuck in that type of trading trap. Lastly, we're going to talk a little bit about social media traders as well. And I'm going to give you a secret to what they're doing to falsely influence you and kind of boost their own image or whatever you call it. But in reality, they're actual fraud. So before we hop in, I just want to give you a little bit of background, right? This conversation comes from a live room session that I did. I apologize. I didn't have my main recording up because it was a boring day and I thought I wouldn't say anything interesting. So the audio isn't too great, but the initial conversation stems from a trader I was talking to on our tier 1 trading platform who was stuck in a little bit of analysis paralysis. And what that means is that you see so much on the charts because you have so much information in your head that you kind of freeze and pause because one thing contradicts the other and then this contradicts that and you don't know what to do. So the idea was kind of explaining to the trader how to get out of that trap where you're seeing everything and how and I guess why it's important to focus on a single thing. So let's hop in. But one more time before we do me a favor, right? The Trading Coach podcast has been taken off. We're consistently ranked as one of the top trading podcasts out there, and I don't want that to stop. So do me a favor. Please, if you haven't done so already, take a minute to rate and review. I know many of you guys have done so already, but we're always getting new traders. So if you haven't done so already, take a second to do that. 5 stars if you think I deserve it. Also share this with your social community. All right, now that I got that out of the way, let's hop into the episode. So we don't want to combine trend continuation and counter trend and pattern trading and this and that. And then again, we're going to get that paralysis analysis where we see everything and then we're confused because everything starts to conflict with each other. We want to understand what we're trading it as, and then ignore everything else. At the beginning of your eyes, well, yes and no. I also don't want to make an excuse. It's you. Your eyes can certainly play tricks on you in the market, but you also have to be intentional about what you're trading, and that you can control, right? This is why we always say start with one strategy, master that one strategy. So if I tell you guys to start with one strategy, and you're going to be a counter trend trader, you should go into the market only looking for counter trend trading setups. You shouldn't be looking for daily chores. You shouldn't be looking for FTBs. You shouldn't care about advanced pattern formations. It should only be your structure-based counter trend trading. If you make the decision to be like, hey, I'm a counter trend trader, but I'm also going to look at advanced pattern formations and this and that, you're intentionally bringing the confusion on to yourself. So it is something that we can control. Now, again, it's very hard to kind of, when you have all this information, ignore everything that's happening, because you have all this information in your head, double tops, double bottoms, 3-bar reversals, this, that, micro trends, major trends. There's all this spewing around. But this is why we talk about, hey, you go through the learning process. You don't think about trading until it's time to trade. And then when it comes that time to trade, lock in on one thing, focus on that one thing. And then once you've mastered that one thing, right, and you're comfortable with it, then you can add a second thing to it. So we just have to be disciplined with what our focus is, and we have to be intentional about what we're focusing on, be intentional about what we are going to ignore. Everyone is different. Of course, sometimes you start shifting your focus to other things because it's important to understand that when you have free time, you shouldn't just stare at the charts and look for more setups. Sometimes you start shifting your focus to other things because it's important. Yeah, and that's again, that's the intentional part. You've got to say no. If you haven't yet mastered one thing, you've got to only focus on your focus. You got to put your full energy into what you're supposed to be working on. That is going to be the quickest way to quote unquote master something. You invest all your time and energy on a single thing, and you do not deviate from that single thing until you feel like you have mastered it. Right? It's just the whole energy bar type of setup. Right? You think about it like investing hours. Right? If two people with the same skill level are trying to complete the same task, and one person invests 2 hours a day, the other person invests 10 hours a day, who's going to complete the task sooner? Well, the person investing more time, because they're putting that 10 hours in, they're putting all that time in. The person investing 2 hours, you're still going to get there, but it's going to take that much longer. When you're in that learning phase of trading and you're trying to master a concept, right? And again, when you're past the learning phase, when you're at the phase where it's like, hey, I want to start focusing on something. Your learning phase, you're just acquiring information and trying to get in like a lay of the land, right? You're at the buffet, you're walking around the buffet, trying to decide, like, just trying to see, like, okay, we have this over here, we got that over there. Oh, that looks good for dessert. You're just observing. That is the learning phase of trading when you're going through the course and stuff like that. But when you get past that learning phase, when it's time to lock in and you're starting to decide, hey, I want to focus on this is the direction I want to go in my trading, then that's when you need to lock in and invest all your time in that single thing. Because that is going to give you the best opportunity to learn it most efficiently and in the shortest amount of time. So we have to be able to ignore other stuff. You have to tell yourself, oh yeah, I remember learning about AB equals CDs, but right now, only focused on daily chore. I can come back to that later. And then once you've mastered something, once you've got to that level of mastery in your daily chore, now you can still kind of train yourself on daily chore. And then in your side time, start learning about the next thing. So maybe now you're like, okay, let me go back and dig into these AB equals CDs. And now you're investing the majority of your time into those ABCDs because you don't necessarily need to invest that time in a daily chore anymore because it's already, that achievement has already been unlocked. So yeah, it's not easy by any means, but it is something that we can control. So I don't believe in excuses for that. We have to be intentional about it. Because what happens if we're not, and this is why I'm so stern on this subject, because I've seen it. And we have traders on the platform right now where they spend so much time bouncing around between everything that they never get anywhere. I won't name any names, but we have a bunch of traders, not a bunch, but like a handful of traders right now on the platform that reach out to me on a weekly basis. And each week that they reach out, it's about something new. And my response is, hey, I thought you were working on this. And they just keep bouncing around and they've never mastered anything. What is it? Jack of all trades, master of none? One of those type of deals. And what's going to happen is those traders, they're just going to stay in this cycle and they're never going to progress to the point where they actually can trade something, or they're at the level where they can trade something. So that's the reason I'm so passionate about this subject, because I know how easy it is to get stuck. This is no different than system hopping. Now you're not actually trading, so it's better. So you're not like investing money, but this is no different than system hopping. And then before you know it, 2, 3, 4, 5 years have passed, and like I've gotten emails, and you're in no better place than when you started. You know just enough to be dangerous to yourself, but not enough to actually use it to make money. You gotta focus on one thing at a time. I know you guys, you see me, you see Jason, we do all this kind of cool, funky stuff in the markets, but understand this is over almost 2 decades of experience. You know what? When I first got good at trading, you know what I traded? The Gartley pattern. That's all I traded. The Gartley pattern. After years of bouncing around and trying different things, I focused on one thing. I traded the Gartley pattern. I got really good at the Gartley pattern, started making some money off of it. Once I mastered it, I added the bat pattern. After about a year of trading just like Gartleys and bats only, a year and a half, cipher. Then after I mastered all three, and I didn't even intend on doing this, I was quite fine just trading those 3 patterns. But this is where the passion came back in, because I'm passionate about the markets. I always loved price action trading. I just wasn't capable of trading it how I wanted to back then. I wasn't mature enough. I wasn't disciplined enough. I wasn't skilled enough. I revisited it after probably about 5 years of just becoming a better trader. And then I added my counter trend trading, CTS trading back, which was my initial love. I just couldn't do it because I wasn't good enough. So I added my initial love of CTS trading back. I did that for a few years. And then I added trend continuation trading. So you see me right now and I trade bats, Gartleys, ciphers, counter trend, trend continuation, right? All these different ways. But understand that I pretty much spent like 2 years of doing each individually before I got there. I didn't go to the buffet with a big old plate and just grab everything at once and try to eat it all and get too full and throw up, AKA blowing money in the market. No, I went up there, I got my burger. I went back, I ate my burger, let it settle in a little bit, right? You know, if you go to all you can eat buffet, you got to stay there all day. You got to get your money's worth. This ain't just a hop in for lunch type of thing. I'm talking, you bring a book, you bring a podcast, you bring a laptop, you do some back testing. Now I spend hours in that joint. No lie, these things are expensive, right? All you can eat, I'm gonna get a lunch and a dinner out of it. I'm gonna get at least 2 meals. Lunch and a dinner, brunch and a dinner is the best. Then you get breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But you get your burger, eat it, let it digest a little bit, right? Sit for a little bit, and then go back and get your next meal. And that way you're not overstuffing yourself. It's not regurgitating and coming back out of your system. You're actually retaining what you eat or retaining what you learn. And then before you know it, you've eaten a million things. Or back to the trading market, because this analogy is getting out of hand, back to the trading, before you know it, you've got 18 things in your arsenal. 18's a lot, maybe not 18. But you got a bunch of things in your arsenal, and you've learned it the right way. Where the other route, right, was me spending 2 years trying to do 18 things at the same time and getting absolutely nowhere. Greg said, you need to train your brain to get to that point, especially if you're on social media and follow trading pages. It can lead to a lot of FOMO. Yeah, that's why you got to stay out of it. I just put out a short this morning on, short reel, whatever those like little 1-minute clip things about toxic groups, man. Social media could be toxic. It could be amazing too if you use it the right way, but it could be toxic because everyone makes you seem like you're inferior. Everyone makes you seem like you're inferior on social media. Whether you're an athlete, whether you're a trader, whether you're, if you're never beautiful enough, because I've used 18 layers of makeup and so many filters to make myself look perfect. It just makes you seem inferior because it's the highlight reel of everyone's life. Most people. I present realness on social media. Jason presents realness. And there are lots of others that present realness. But like I mentioned before, at least I think I mentioned before, or I might have been talking to myself, the unfortunate truth is that many of the people that are real don't get as many clicks as the people that are fake, because the people that are real aren't doing the things necessary to go viral as much. And you know how algorithms work, right? If you're not going as viral as much, you're not getting shared. So the chances are, if you log on social media, you're more, until it understands your algorithm, you're more likely to see junk than non-junk. And the junk tends to be a lot more exciting. Newer traders come into trading with these dreams of and they're usually unrealistic expectations for most, unless you've kind of been through it already. So it's kind of like it's what you want to hear too, right? No one wants to hear about, hey guys, I'm sitting on my hands from 7 o'clock to 9:30 today because it's a news event day. Like that's great professional advice. That's something Mike Bellafiore would come in and say, like, hey guys, we're not trading today because it's high volatility news. We're going to reevaluate after it's over. He may say something like that, and it's 100% true, but that's not exciting. Exciting is when I say, like, hey guys, caught the PPI news and rode price down for 200 pips. The cool stuff that gets the likes is when I have two trading accounts and I take a long position on one, I take a short position on the other, and whichever way it goes, I take a screenshot and show you those results. Right? That's what sells. When I have two different trading accounts, two different charts, positions going in each way, I'm recording both screens, and I already know whichever way it goes, I'm going to win, and I'm going to share that recording. Right? Yeah, come on. It's shady business out there. But that's not real. That's not real. Grace says, now that I'm tier one, I've canceled everything else and just focus on one thing. Yeah. And then again, once you've mastered it, it doesn't take as much space in your brain, and you can add the next thing. So it's slowly acquiring tools over time. Think of yourself like a video game character, right? You're leveling up. Once you have unlocked one level and you've achieved that achievement, then you can start adding the next one. So good stuff. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Hey, if you want more of an in-depth episode on how to learn how to trade, meaning kind of the steps that I think are most efficient and productive for a new trader to take, make sure you check out Trading Coach Podcast episode 90. That's 90. It's called Learning How to Learn, right? We've been doing this Trading Coach Podcast for a very long time, but don't forget about the old school episodes, as they're very insightful as well. Some of them just have weird intro music, so just ignore that. I was young and dumb and wanted to have fun, so you just kind of act like it never happened, all right? Anyway, appreciate you guys joining me. As always, I appreciate the support. Rate and review before you leave, and until next time, plan your trade, trade your plan. Take care.